We have two presentations, and we want to welcome our auditors, and I'll let them pronounce the name, otherwise I'll mess it up. We'll start with Valerie Dolan, and the floor is yours. Thank you for coming.
My name is Valerie Dolan. I'm partner with Nisavaccia. This is my associate, Andrew Kaczynski. He's the man on the floor doing all of the field work for me. We were appointed this year to conduct the audit of Township of Chatham as a fresh set of clean eyes, and I wanted to come before the committee to let you know that our audit is complete. They were all been given our copy of our audit, and it's available. And that in that audit, I want to say that the Township of Chatham should be commended. The financials are in phenomenal condition. The staff in the finance office, the clerk's office, everyone, tax office was welcoming to us. They were nothing but accommodating to us. It's a lengthy process to go through an audit, and it's a lengthy process, especially when it's someone new, to learn the ropes and the way things are. That being said, we were able to get through our audit, and like I said, everything is in wonderful financial condition. A few highlights that I do want to share: that fund balance at the end of the year was up about $110,000. Primarily, that increase is attributable to the increase that corresponds with your tax rate increase. Your tax rate increase went up from about 98.7% to about 99.1%.
We don't like that word, tax rate increase, so
well, tax
maybe you want to rephrase
collection
that?
Rate.
Thank you.
How's that sound? The tax collection rate had an increase, which means your delinquencies are down, which helps in the end. The township continued to pay down their debt. All their debt obligations were paid and paid in full. And you currently have debt in both forms of serial bonds, bond anticipation notes, and loans. And it's in a great mix of debt, and we were able to get through everything on those debt, and all of those payments are being made. There are a few items that we've cited in the report, but they're all what we refer to as pure housekeeping items. They are minor in nature, nothing of any real magnitude. They are just a few things that we found that, after speaking with administration, are in the process of being corrected. And I didn't know, before I go any further, if there are any questions that I can answer. It's much easier to answer questions than to start spewing numbers.
Sure. And just so the public knows, you have met with, obviously, Tom and the Finance Committee. Mm-hmm. The committee, we all have a copy of the audit, which we're all responsible for signing the audit, that at least we have received it and have hopefully have read it. So I just want the public to understand that. I would just ask, coming in new, as a new auditor, we hear the word transparency a lot. I think it's the most misused word in government today, but it is a buzzword. As a new auditor coming in, how did you look at our website? Did you look at the availability of our budget, our financial audit? Did you find things? Did you say, wow, this is, it's all here, I got it?
Right.
It wasn't hidden anywhere. It was very transparent, is what I'm getting at.
One of the things that we do as coming in for an audit is we do a lot of pre-planning. And we're required to do a lot of pre-planning and understanding the township so that we can design an audit program to work within yours. We were able to do a lot of our pre-planning from our offices off of your website. We were able to find prior year financial documents. We were able to research budget. And during our audit process, we were able to go back and forth and look up things. Well, why are this? Okay, well, it looks like in 2012, this is when this reserve was established. It was very informative to us coming in that we didn't have to bombard administration with a lot of little questions, because we could research it ourselves off of your own website, which is to be commended. It's great to see. And they were all in a manner that we could find them at the touch of a finger. They weren't buried anywhere, so they were right in the forefront where they were able to be viewed by all.
That's great. Well, that's good to hear. Thank you. Just a couple of things. Mm-hmm. Did you get a sense of going through the audit? Did you see something that you said, well, why isn't this again, for lack of a better term, a separate line item issue, or you should break this out? If you could just expand on that.
No, our review includes reviewing all of the budget line items, both revenue and appropriation line items. And in those reviews, we found everything where we would have expected them to be. We are, as my firm audits over 70 municipalities, and there is nothing in your budget or in your line items that we felt was not in the normal place or really out of the purview. It all made perfect sense to where those items were, and they made sense in comparison to other towns and municipalities.
And the last question I have is just concerning surplus.
Yeah.
Because we are fortunate enough
to
have a surplus.
Surplus.
Municipalities are fortunate enough to have a surplus, unlike the Board of Ed, who will be speaking next. But in your work and over your career, 70 towns, could you give us, just an understanding about the municipal budget process, surplus, and if there are any examples where surplus has gone bad very quickly, or what happened, surplus nightmares and surplus maybe good stories too?
Correct. One of the things that we do look at is a surplus and the consistency of a surplus. When you say surplus, those are monies that are really regenerated each year and refunneled back into your budget process. They become available. The monies that are held in surplus reserves in a municipality are really there as your comfort zone. They are your insurance policy if something were to happen. So one of the things we asked, and we spoke with Tom and Finance, was where is Chatham's comfort zone and where do they want to be, so that we could understand where you felt was your comfort zone. Some towns have percentage numbers, some towns have set dollar amounts that they like to work with. That way, when we're reviewing everything that we're looking at, we can make sure that if something is coming down the pike, that we would know, well, you're going in a different direction than your original plan. Are you aware of it? And are you making repercussion changes? What's your next year's event going to be? Or if you're going too high and you're going way above your numbers, are you comfortable being on above your numbers, or is there some other items that we can do? And then what we do is we have been in situations many times where the best laid plans go quickly, and a lot of times one of the biggest areas is in tax appeals, which is where we've seen a lot of towns use up a lot of their reserves, because in a tax appeal, yes, the money has to be refunded based on an appeal, but the thing that doesn't equate is the dollar for dollar. Towns are faced with paying back 100% on a tax appeal. However, the school and the county got their percentage, and the townships will only receive their small portion of that money, but they have to pay back 100%. So we always make sure that there's some reserves for appeals and things of that nature, and any unforeseen expenses, so that you have that luxury that if there was a Sandy or another Irene, something were to come, you have your own money to borrow from that you can then pay yourself back, versus going out and having to borrow from an outside source to fund any kind of emergency. So looking at those numbers, we went back and looked at Chatham's, and we're very comfortable with where you've placed yourself and the percentage ranges, and that you were staying within your own set guidelines.
Very well. Thank you. Karen, Mike?
Just to repeat what you said, the Finance Committee did meet about 2 weeks ago and went into detail and asked a number of the questions, especially surplus, those kinds of areas that you're zeroing in on, and they were very informative and helpful, so my compliments.
Thank you.
I would just like to say welcome. This is new turf for you. Obviously, you're experienced in doing what it is that you do. We're glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
As we've stated, the word transparency really comes up a lot, but it means a lot to us, because we want everybody to know that what we see is what they can see and what you see. So we're here. If you have any questions, you already know how helpful our administration is and our township staff, but everyone here is just at your disposal.
Perfect.
So
thank you very much for your time.
Great to have you here.
And appreciate the
Thank you,
opportunity to
Tom.
work with the township.
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Andrew.